Good afternoon. Today, class, we're going to be learning about the Earth's axis. I'm going to give you a lecture that is going to have different vocabulary words that I want you to take a few notes on and memorize because there will be an activity after the lecture. So, I'm going to ask you all a question and give you a few moments to think about it. What is your favorite season? I'll give you a few moments to think it over and try to remember which season is your favorite. Regardless of what season you choose, you experience that season due to the tilt of Earth's axis. Because of the tilt, this is how we experience all the seasons, and I will give you further explanation as to why. The axial tilt. The spinning of Earth on its axis causes day and night. The axial tilt is the angle between the planet's rotational axis and its orbital axis. The Earth's axis is not just straight up and down, it is tilted at 23.4 degrees to be exact. The equator is an imaginary great circle around the Earth's surface. It divides the Earth into the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. The Tropic of Cancer is an imaginary line around the Earth, 23 degrees northern of the equator. So the Tropic of Cancer would be on the northernmost part of the Earth. The Tropic of Capricorn is the imaginary line on the Earth, 23 degrees south of the equator. So it's the line that is under the equator that is more towards South America. Rotation is a process or act of turning over, circling around something. The time for one rotation around Earth's axis is 24 hours. So due to rotation, this is how we experience day and night. I'm going to show you a quick GIF to show you how the rotation occurs. So this is rotation to give you a visual. Of course, rotation is when the Earth is turning around on its axis. Revolution is the movement of one object around a center or another object. A revolution occurs as the Earth moves around the Sun. Time for one revolution is 365 and 1/4 day. This is why we have a leap year every 4 years, is because of the 1/4 day. So that's why every 4 years we experience leap year so that we can continue having a correct calendar. I'm going to also show you a quick example so you can see what a revolution is. So this is what a revolution looks like. It's when the Earth goes around the Sun. And this is how we experience the year. Orbit. The path followed by an object revolving around another object under the influence of gravitation. Every second that you sit in this classroom, the Earth's orbital motion carries you about 18 miles through space. Hemisphere. A half of a sphere. A half of the Earth, usually as divided into northern and southern halves by the equator. There are 4 hemispheres: the northern hemisphere, the southern hemisphere, the eastern hemisphere, and the western hemisphere, as you can see on the picture provided. Solstice. Either of the 2 times in a year when the sun reaches its highest or lowest point in the sky at noon, marked by the longest and shortest days. Days of summer solstice is June 20th to 22nd, and it's the longest day. The days depend on what part of the world you're living on, and the days of the winter solstice is either December 21st or the 22nd, which is the shortest day of the year. Equinox. The time or date, twice each year, at which the sun crosses the centennial equator, when day and night are of equal length. So days of the autumn equinox is September 22nd and September 23rd. The days of the vernal equinox is March 20th and 21st. Summer solstice. During the northern hemisphere summer, the top half of the earth is tilted towards the sun. The sun hits the Tropic of Cancer. So in the southern hemisphere, it would be winter. But for the northern hemisphere, this is when we experience summer. The winter solstice for the northern hemisphere is the sun shines directly on the Tropic of Cancer in the southern hemisphere. They experience summer. The northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun, which is causing winter. So here's a quick summary of what we've learned. Earth's tilt is the reason for the seasons. The seasons are caused as the Earth, tilted on its axis, travels in a loop around the sun each year. Summer happens in the hemisphere, tilted toward the sun, and the winter happens in the hemisphere, tilted away from the sun. So this is a quick summary of what we learned so far, and try to remember all the vocabulary words you learned during this lecture, because it will be part of an activity we'll be having today.